It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Thank you so much for joining us. We are in for yet another thrilling weekend of sport. Shifting gears somewhat after the recent weeks' action, the international football matches are behind us, so it's time to turn our attention back to the Premier League once more. The PSL action also continuing, some big questions. Ramakosi, what's going on, man? And of course, Sunday we'll see the Proteas back in action against India in their first T20 international. Massive changes there. So to help us kind of disseminate what we can expect, please welcome sports journalist Tashreeq Vardien.
Hey, Graham.
Dude.
Good morning.
Good morning. It is a good morning, man. I love mornings like this when we've got such a diverse mix of sport coming in. Footy, back to business as usual after all of the international action. But let's talk about cricket because it's not business as usual. The Proteas, massive change. I'm sorry Carl brought up the World Cup earlier, but this is the narrative, unfortunately. So where do we even start? Maybe with the T20s itself up against India. Where are India in the T20? Should we fear them, being this kind of wounded beast that we are?
Look, the good thing for South Africa is that we're still ranked. Despite the rankings not being that much of a concern, we're still ranked in the top 5. So India is currently 4th, and we're 3rd for T20s in particular. And with things looking at the moment, with the current change, with management and so forth, things are kind of dangerous, but also not. I think
it's an opportunity.
It's an opportunity. You see, I look at failure as an opportunity. If that comes, mind calls, comments earlier with the World Cup. But I'm excited. I'm excited with the whole team, with Quinny taking over the T20, with Faf focusing on the test. And
how important is that? I mean, Faf would have been through the ringer with this World Cup and did take a lot of it on the chin to his credit. How do you see Quinny playing as a captain? He is one of those who does get the job done on the field. One of the most introverted young men that and he is a young guy. So to be captaining at his age, being the kind of player that he is this going to bring out the best in him? He's the kind of player that I would assume is going to lead with the way that he plays more than what he says on the field.
In the week, Rassie van der Dussen spoke very highly of him. And I quite call him the silent assassin because, as you mentioned, once he gets in the middle of the pitch, he just does the business.
Yeah.
And I think it's similar to when Amla was at the reign as well as captain, leading from the front, just speaking of the importance of when he says something, it means of great value. And just doing the work in the middle of the pitch. So
score lots of runs, man. Just score lots of runs really fast.
I'm excited.
Clearly, we are learning from our mistakes. The fact that John Smuts wasn't taken with questions around his fitness, so maybe that's one World Cup mistake. We
brought the extra spinner along with Linda as well.
Yeah, I was going to ask, how important is that to have the spinning kind of armory when going to the subcontinent?
You know what they say when you play in India? When in doubt, bat first. So because on the second, because when you bowl, second is that the pitch starts to spin. So,
and it will.
And it will.
It's not a thing, will it? It will.
Shamsi there as well, so I'm interested to see how that dynamic pulls off for them.
But it looks like a strong side. I think Rassie van der Dussen has also put his hand up, and he's going to be rewarded for that as a vice-captain. But great to see now that he's been given full reign and a contract, what he can do with that. So
Riza's back as well.
And a strong, young, hungry squad, which is what we want. Just very quickly, Enoch and Kwe, what do you make of the management team and who's going to stay? Are we still looking for a coach?
Who knows at this point? Interim team director, and he's brought quite a few well-known former players as well, with Vincent Barnes, the bowling coach. We have Lance Klusen as the T20 batsman coach, and then Justin Ontong as the fielding coach as well, just for the series. We hardly know at this point, but we'll see how things unfold. I'm hoping for the best. I really am hoping for the best for the Proteas after the World Cup this year.
You brought it up again, man. Come on, I'm going to have to move to a different sport now. I can't believe you did that. No, I think we are all feeling hopeful, and maybe we'll get some perspective because the World Cup is a World Cup, and this is something else very, very different. So let's move on to the PSL, back in action this weekend. Polokwane City, you would think the Chiefs would be out-and-out favourites up against a team, and all due respect, the Chiefs have had a torrid year. What is going on?
Nothing really. I mean,
zero is happening.
Nothing really. I mean, they're top of the ABSA Premiership, and it's just with the expectation with being a Kaizer Chiefs player. Bobby Montwang, manager, said a couple of weeks back that it's putting on the gold jersey is quite a weight for certain players, and that in the most recent years since Stuart Baxter left, they couldn't conjure that
psychological
season
It's a psychological issue, man. But we do see a number of really exciting matches coming up this weekend. Probably the pick of the lot for me as I scan SuperSport up against Cape Town City.
Yes.
Are Cape Town City going to make a run for it this year?
Oh, it's going to be tough on them, I think, because SuperSport look very hot at the moment. We have Bradley Grobler, who won the Absa Premiership Player of the Month, with, funny enough, Kaizer Chiefs coach Ernest Middledorp winning the Coach of the Month. It's going to be tough. And then you also have Tamsanqa Kabuza, who's being great for SuperSport United, teaming up with Bradley Grobler up front. So it's going to be tough. If they can pull away a draw for Benny, I'll be happy. Bring home the points, or a point at least.
Just do something for the Cape Town faithful. Congratulations to Robin Johannes also moving to Stellenbosch. Say nothing of the age of that back line. And then, of course, we've got a full host of English Premier League games to look out for. Liverpool, maybe Newcastle will spoil the party for them as well. I say that as a Spurs fan. But just very quickly, Man United, Leicester, that's a tough one for you as a Man U fan, man.
Yes. Same as the Proteas, I would say. We trying and testing times. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is up in arms, especially with that Leicester midfield and Jamie Vardy up front, who's been killing it at the moment.
Don't worry, you got the most expensive defender in the league.
Don't worry, Pochettino will hopefully get the trophy someday.
Oh, that was rough, man. That's the World Cup and Pochi you brought up. Buddy, thank you so much for that.
Thank you so much.
Some incredible insights. All the best of luck to the Proteas flying that flag. As a new era begins up against India in the first of those T20s. Some great football action. Where does your heart lie? You can let us know on our social media platforms as we take a short break.